Hey guys, I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome back to another video here on the Philly Sports Network YouTube channel, and a bit of an informal one on a Saturday afternoon. Now yesterday, for those of you who missed it, we had a very special live stream. We had our friend, veteran safety Mike Adams, a man who had a 16-year NFL career before hanging up the boots this offseason, join our stream and answer your questions, creating a very unique interactive podcast experience. And we were able to speak about everything from growing up in the Delaware area to what it's like playing against Carson Wentz and the Eagles. And because that went down so well, because you guys gave us so much support, we're now able to work on a very exciting project with Mike. So I promise this was just a glimpse into a very exciting future, but I did just want to take a few minutes of that live stream last night and put them into a video for all of you to enjoy. And I feel like there were some really interesting tidbits here. Now, Mike played in two recent games against the Eagles. One of them was in 2018, that game against the Panthers that the Eagles choked away, and another in Thursday Night Football the year before. So we were able to ask Mike some questions about both of those games, and more importantly, about Carson Wentz and what he thinks about Wentz and what it's like playing against him. A funny story about Wentz trying to run him over on the goal line. So sit back and enjoy a perspective about this Eagles team that fans rarely get to enjoy, which is that of a player that's lining up on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. So I hope you enjoy this content. If you can leave a like and hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing. And there's plenty more where this came from. Enjoy. See, the one game you were in 2018 against the Eagles was probably the most frustrating game for an Eagles fan to watch in quite some time. That the way that game then suddenly turned on its head, being on the opposite side of the boot and on that team, watching this unfold and going from a game that was seemingly out of reach into, oh my god, they're choking it and we're making it happen. How do you keep that fire burning? Like, is that your duty as one of the older guys on the field to really keep the foot on the gas and not roll over?
You talking about specifically the game when we came back and won?
That's the one. Yeah, don't need to. It's okay.
With a smile.
I had to throw it in my boy Brian's face real quick. Well, see that's the thing about the NFL, and I tell people all the time, man, the game is never over. Sometimes all it takes is one play. That one thing that people always forget about, that is hard to stop. It's that word called momentum. Think about that Super Bowl with the Patriots and Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Momentum. And that's what we had in that game against the Eagles. I think it was one big play. I think Torrey Holt made the – was it – not – I said Torrey Holt. Torrey Smith. Torrey Smith made the play on the sideline, I think. And it was a long – I think it was like third and long or something. And he made the play. And then we scored on that drive. And once we scored on that drive, our defense started picking up momentum. And I dropped the interception, too, in the end zone.
Oh, okay. Is that the thing that's sticking out after all? Even the entire game, that's the one little nut where it's just like, oh, could have added some salt in the wound.
Yeah, it's momentum, though. It's hard to stop momentum, man. Somebody has to stop the bleeding. And when you have leadership on the team, that's why teams like, a lot of teams just young. They're just young and they won't win because sometimes you need leaders on that team to say, you know what? Hey, let's go. Just stop the bleeding. And then all it takes is just one play and then the whole game just shifts.
Absolutely. And then I think 1 year before that, so 2017, bizarrely, I think one of the most memorable games of the season for me that year was Eagles-Panthers Thursday Night Football.
Thursday night, yeah. They beat her.
It was. I just remember that game being a roller coaster from start to finish. Maybe it was because I was caffeined up at 5 in the morning English time. I don't know, but it felt like a good game. I mean, what are your memories of that game and that environment?
They came in fired up. I thought we was flat that game. I thought we came out real flat, and they just had they had the momentum in that game right there, and it wouldn't go away. So it started going back and forth because it was a good game. So because we was fighting, we had a lot of good leaders on that defense that just wouldn't budge. Like Thomas Davis, we had Luke Kuechly, and our defensive line, Julius Peppers. But the one thing that really stood out in that game was Carson Wentz tried to run me over on the goal line.
I've got that.
He tried. He tried me. And he caught me off guard. He almost caught me slipping because I thought he was gonna slide. And because quarterbacks, come on, what are you doing right now? Get on the ground. Get on the ground, because I'm not gonna win this battle. Because if I hit you, it's a flag. If I don't hit you, it's a touchdown. Like, come on. But yeah, I remember that from that game. But the pendulum swung their way a lot more than it did ours. That day, they definitely was the better team.
So you got your revenge a year later then. So, I mean, Brian, I know you've got a question about Wentz then that will directly correlate to that. So I'll let you fire that one away.
Yeah, so Mike, you faced Wentz in the 2017 season and as well as the 2018 season. Did you see a different dynamic from your standpoint as a player of how Wentz looked? Because the media has completely turned Wentz into kind of like this mediocre quarterback who just doesn't have the magic that Nick Foles has.
Yeah.
Do you see that kind of the same way, or do you still see the gunslinger that was there in 2017?
I never thought he was a gunslinger. I thought he had I thought he read defenses well, and I thought he was very accurate as a quarterback, and he ran when he had to. I think his game started to diminish a little bit when he couldn't run anymore. He wanted to run, but once he got hurt, they wanted his game change. And sometimes when you take an element from someone's game, they have to find themselves. I can guarantee this year will be better for him because he got a whole year to just find himself. They don't want him to run no more, so it's like, okay, let me find myself now. Now they got to put some players in front of him, and if they put those players in front of him, meaning that they protect him, one, and they get him a couple dynamic receivers, and he doesn't prevail, then it'll be all downhill from there for him. But if he excels, he did a good job adjusting for himself, because remember, his game has changed because when he got injured.
I think the best question someone's asked all night here is from Duck Nguyen, who I know has been one of our long-time sort of fans. He listens to everything we put out. He said, how do you deal with questions about locker room talk? And obviously the Eagles had quite a unique situation this year where everything just caught fire and it was terrible. Looking at the locker rooms that you've been in, and a 16-year veteran and all of those memories along the way, has there been a time where someone has spoken out against a teammate, or there has been some inner... Because it can't all be smooth sailing all the time. How do you deal with that disruption? Is there a way to tame it? Is it on the veterans? Or is that just part of football? Because there's so many emotions and a lot of testosterone in that locker room, I'm guessing, right?
It's definitely a combination of all of that. But I will say, as men, you're free to say what you want to say. But it's on the leaders in that locker room. And it's on the leadership. It's on the vets in the locker room to contain that. And one thing I can say about that, when that does happen, when someone lash out against another player on the team and it goes public, most likely that team is losing. Most likely that team is not winning because of the dysfunction. And I've been on that team. I've been on a team like that, and we didn't win. You can't win like that. Somebody calling somebody else out in the media, I don't know what that does and what that proves. But one thing about it is, as an athlete, and I always tell guys, the locker room is sacred. Everything that happens in the locker room should stay in the locker room. If it's a fight, if it's a fight that happened in the locker room, nobody should know about it. The team and we said something real bad, that should stay in the locker room. Yeah. In the locker room, I would never repeat them because it's the locker room and it's sacred. But once stuff start getting out of the locker room, you start losing control, man, and most likely you're losing. And it comes out of because frustration, you're not getting the ball, or you need the ball, you're not getting the ball, you're not making tackles, you got benched. It's always a story behind it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think you know, dynamics can change so quickly depending on, you know, people that come in and out. I hope this video was able to bring some extra insight into the world of this current Eagles team, and if you enjoyed the live stream, make sure you leave a like and hit that subscribe button. We're going to have plenty more content exactly like this where you can get directly involved in just around the corner, especially towards the beginning of the NFL draft window as well. We're going to have some Eagles film room content coming up for you next week, so make sure you stick around for that. From myself, Liam Jenkins, I'll see you soon.